Hey guys, this is my Denali vlog number 2. Last time I had a couple of concerns, financial concerns, which I'm not really concerned about anymore. Majority of finances are kind of paid for already, so it's all set. The bigger of the two concerns was that I was experiencing a lot of hip pain. That was severe. That was a big problem. So what I ended up doing was I ordered a backpack that was sized appropriately and came in the mail in like 2 days, so incredibly quickly. And then I took that on this past trip that I went on this weekend. I attempted the Presidential Traverse for the second time. The pack was great. I felt like physically unstoppable. I felt like the Juggernaut or the Kool-Aid guy breaking through walls. It felt like just impenetrable. Such a strong, I guess now from wearing a bad backpack, this hip is titanium, adamantium hip. So that's a plus. Unfortunately, the Presidential Traverse attempt was a failure. The weather just wasn't cooperating. It was too dangerous, not worth the attempt. So we ended up turning back, but it was, however, an extremely valuable camping trip, the winter camping trip. What we did is two friends and I, traveled north to New Hampshire, got a hotel for the night, got up reasonably early, had a big breakfast, hiked up to the Madison Hut, and at this point the winds were 60 miles an hour. We set up the tent on the southeast face of the hut, and then fortified a tent platform with ice blocks. So we were able to really figure out how to make a wall. And what I found out is 1 by 1 by 2 feet blocks work the best. It's pretty much like Legos, or building a building with bricks. It's sturdy and it's uniform, so it's really simple. But another thing I learned from that trip is definitely invest in a tent sponge, and that's because the humidity from you drying your clothes, everything gets damp, wet inside your sleeping bag. Eventually it permeates and fills the tent with like humidity, and that humidity forms on the cold layer of the tent and forms into frost. Now when you wake up in the morning, or if you brush against the side of the tent, everything gets wet and icy. It's like snows inside the tent. But when you cook in the morning, all of that steam melts, and it's horrible. So if you have a tent sponge, you can wipe that off, and it might save a little bit of frustration. Just make things a little bit more habitable. Secondly, I learned to always take the tent down and pack it away without crampons on. So put your crampons on after, so long as it's safe to do so. Sometimes, in some circumstances, you need crampons on all the time. But when it's safe, save them for later. I ended up getting a huge tear in my tent. It's like that big. It's like an L. I'm going to put my whole fist through it. So I guess the positive from that, I learned how to fix a tent, so that was good, which will be another video one of these days. Lastly, I learned that a Himalayan down suit, even in negative 30 degrees wind chill, is way too warm for the whites. It's just I don't think a down suit is worth it if you're hiking in New Hampshire. I mean, I could be wrong. There could be some brutal days where it would be necessary, but I mean, it's only 5,000 to 6,000 feet elevation gain. If you get cold, you just keep moving. You move faster. The down suit is really better for high altitudes where it's just not possible to move quickly. So you need to save all the warmth that you can. And when there's less oxygen, your body's not as efficient at keeping itself warm. So in that case, having a down suit is super important. not so much in the whites. I could be wrong. That was just my first go at it. I was miserable. It was too hot. Even with all the vents open, it was too much. Another thing that I learned that I put into practice was my Nalgene bottle. Usually I keep my Nalgene bottles filled with water in the side pockets of my backpack. And it's easy to reach. You can sip, but putting it back in the pocket tends to be hard, or at least for me. So I would always naturally just not drink enough water. But this time I took a wire gate carabiner and hooked it to the shoulder strap of my backpack, and then hooked the Nalgene bottle to that. It worked phenomenally well. I was able to drink 100 milliliters of water every 20 minutes. I just kept an eye on the time. And that was that. I mean, that's the best performance enhancing drug there is. It's just staying hydrated. Eating a Belgian waffle in the morning, I think that helped too. Let's see, what else? How else do I feel? Training is going well. This morning I ran 5 miles, and it was fine. I mean, I pushed myself. I didn't break any speed records or anything. I really just, the whole point is to get your body metabolizing for durations of time. I don't know, it took me like 45 minutes or so. No, longer than that. Because the first mile I didn't keep track of. So maybe an hour. I don't know, whatever. But it felt good. It felt real good. I think tomorrow morning I'm going to do some more heavy weight pack carrying, sled hauling. That's all I can think of now. I mean, that's how I feel 66 days away. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. 62 days away from leaving. All right, well, I'll talk to you guys next time.